kind of live.
Kind of
Got it.
live.
Got it. Is there audio, guys? That's all that matters.
There's audio.
It's working. Excellent.
We did it. Good work,
Excellent.
everyone. Go team.
Hey, everybody, welcome to The Forecast, episode 135. The Forecast is a bi-weekly podcast produced, streamed, and sometimes released on Thursdays, depending on how I'm feeling. We are a community of people who love exploring and discussing all kinds of things, from video games and board games to film and TV to our everyday life experiences. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us at facebook.com/The Horizon FB, or you can come hang out on our Discord channel, or you can check out our website, withhorizon.com. Bunch of new stuff there. One of those things, check it out, Discord and Signal. Just shameless plug. We have also a bunch of other things for you to browse through, a whole bunch of old cool videos that we've done in the past. Additionally, everything we talk about is in our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. I am Aaron, joined by a couple additional peeps, and we're going in like, I know if you're listening to this, you can't tell the orientation of people's faces on Twitch, but we're going in like star tracing format. So here we go. I'm Aaron. Owen.
Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Jake.
Hello, that's me.
Alex.
I think it's funny that you pointed the wrong direction when you said Owen.
Yeah.
I didn't point at all. I just raised my hands.
See,
There was
gotcha.
only
Like
one arm on
waving.
screen.
Waving. Sorry. I'm waving.
You
Waving
went,
my
you
arms.
went, oh,
This is an audio podcast. This is going to
This
be
is a really good intro
Yeah,
for
this
you,
is
Alex.
great.
Caleb.
That's me.
And Chade.
I'm drawing this triangle in my head. It's
not
not a
really
triangle,
working.
it's a star.
Star.
I'm drawing a star in
Mhm.
my head, and it's not working.
It's a very strange shape. It's the closest I can come up with. Once you get to like the last few, like you can't really do the
Yeah,
points
going
anymore.
from Chad to Aaron kind of messes up the entire star.
Yeah, whatever. It's pointless, guys. Don't worry about it. It's fine. This is audio cast. It
has
doesn't even matter.
points.
Wow, Alex. Wow, yes, it has points. Alex, speaking
Not
of
like
you,
the same
let's
points as a
start.
regular star, but it has points.
Let's start, Alex, with your upgraded moment of silence, which I'm now calling Alex's generic commentary.
Yeah. Hey, I want a space to be able to say random stuff because
Yeah, I mean, this is-
I need it.
Normally, you get like 30 minutes at the beginning of the podcast when you talk about all the
It's
games
true.
you play, but now
Yeah.
we're going to add even more.
Whatever. I would just put this in news if we didn't actually do it for a segment.
We got
but
200% more Alex this podcast.
this is the
Excellent.
Star Citizen update hour. Or minute.
Thanks
maybe.
for that
Hour.
drawing, Chad.
This
Nice.
is what the star looked like. It's actually kind of good.
It's pretty close. I mean,
It's
there's
as
a
close
star
as I
in
could
there.
get. Close
Wow.
as I could get.
Wow. Okay.
Tell
Star
us about
Citizen
Star
update
Citizen.
time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I randomly saw an article the other day that reminded me Star Citizen was still a thing. They recently passed like $351 million collected from people that don't have a product. And they're only on alpha 3.12. No release in sight. I'm just, at this point, I've been thinking a lot this week about like, will this game ever actually release?
No.
Will it ever
Me.
be good?
There's the
No.
big no.
Will it?
It'll release probably someday.
The question is,
It's
what
never
will
gonna
come
live
out
up to-
first? Star Citizen or Donda?
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
Donda.
He made it up.
It's
Yeah.
Kanye West's album that's been pushed back for like 2 straight years because
Oh.
it's not good enough yet.
I mean, he's a man of perfection, so I
Yeah.
understand that.
It's true.
Chris Roberts, I think, is just like bad at management. Maybe. I don't know. They, if you don't remember, they started the Kickstarter for this game in 2012. So,
Hold on, I'm going to look up what the current fundraising is right now. Or do you have that?
I said $351 million.
I
They
missed it.
passed.
I missed it. I was like,
That was like the
type
whole
something
point
in.
of the segment.
No, it's totally. I don't listen to our podcast.
I really don't. I shut it off when Alex starts talking, and then immediately when we need to talk to
I mean,
somebody else, I turn it back
It could
on.
have gone up since this article came out, actually. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, like 9 years in development, and they have like an alpha. You can like walk around a hangar. There's still no. They still talk about Squadron 42, which is the campaign that is going to be like a single player, like story driven campaign that'll eventually come out someday.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I
have
think
my
it's
doubts.
interesting to think about.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of wasted money currently.
Hey, it could be good.
Currently,
It could come out and be good.
I mean,
it's
I hope
never
it
going to
is.
be as good as people need it to be.
I mean,
for
maybe
having
it will
spent
be.
that much money on it.
Honestly, I feel like that's like
Almost no way.
the Kickstarter curse. Like when you surpass a certain amount of money with all of your like, stretch goals, all of a sudden it's just like undeliverable.
Yep.
Man,
Sure.
this article came out not too long ago, and it's already significantly different. $381 million.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
raised.
why?
Who's still giving them money is what I want
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Like, at this point, the issue is not that they don't have enough money. There's other issues going on.
There
I
must
think-
be marketing campaigns or something where new people haven't heard of how long it's been in development, and that's
don't
how
know,
they're getting
man.
more money.
Man,
That's the
that is
only-
those are very targeted marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
Considering it's been in development 9 years, I have never once seen a targeted Star Citizen ad come my direction, and I have never invested.
They have a crowdfunding timeline where you can break it down by month, week, day, or hour.
Of course they do. I mean,
If you-
that's what
if
they've
you
been
break it
developing
down-
for 9 years.
If you break it down by day, all of the points are above 100,000.
$100,000 a day. That's insanity. Wow.
Yeah, yesterday they made
You're just not the target
$189,000.
market, Aaron.
I mean, yeah.
I don't get it, man.
I am
at
not
this
the target
point,
market.
I'm actually wondering if it's like a scam, like it's almost like a scam at this point, right? Because like
Sure.
they're incentivized to not release it at this point because they're just raking in so much money by continually developing this game.
Right.
Sure.
And it's not necessarily like money that's stuck in some crowdfunding source. This is like direct
No, it's direct to
donations.
them at this point.
Right. So they could just
Yeah.
invest it, make money off the money that's sitting there.
Well, the
Oops,
other
sorry guys,
issue-
game didn't come out. We'll
Well-
refund you.
I mean, even if, we don't want to refund anyone, so you just dump some piece of shit
Yeah.
on Steam and be like, there it is, we finished it. Good thing you already paid for it, you idiots.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's so sad. I really hope for their sake it's good, because if it fails, it's gonna be some backlash.
We're gonna have some YouTube videos with top Kickstarter scandals of
Oh yeah.
the century,
100%.
and that's gonna be like one of them.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of good, YouTube documentary, like mini documentaries about the
Just gonna-
downfall of.
Oh yes,
Star
there's gonna be like an
Citizen.
Amazon special called like, like a Fire Fest. They'll have one for
Yeah.
Star Citizen where they like track the how where the money goes and how they've been working on it, but they're clearly not capable of developing anything. Let's talk about what you guys have been playing lately. And Owen, we're gonna start with you this week. What have you been playing?
Okay, so I've still been playing some GTA, surprising absolutely no one. A lot of what I've been doing now in the game has just been recreating cars from the Fast and Furious franchise because why not?
Yeah. I mean, that is essentially what this expansion is, right?
Yeah, I that's pretty much what this expansion is, and also I heard somebody talk about how they were surprised. It was Elijah Wood was on Hot Ones, and he was talking about how he was surprised that GTA has never been made into a movie, and I was like, bitch, it's been made into 9. I don't know how. If you think about what would be the perfect Fast and Furious video game, it's just GTA. Like we've done this. We're there. So just been doing that, playing a lot of Divinity with Allison because it's been a lot of fun. That would be Original Sin 1.
Is it called 1?
No,
Or
it's
just Original Sin.
Original Sin Enhanced
Okay.
Edition.
Okay.
Okay. Surprising even myself, I re-downloaded and was playing Apex today.
I saw
Why?
you playing Apex, and I was like, what
Weird.
is going on right
I
now?
almost texted the group and was like, "Since when does Owen play any battle royale?"
A friend of mine messaged me and was like, "You want to play some Apex?" And I was like, "You know what? Sure." And you know what? I'm feeling good. I played like 10 games today and I won 2 of them. So
Wow.
feeling
Nice.
good. I'm coming
20%
back.
win rate
Yeah,
That's pretty freaking good.
it was
in
a
a
pretty
battle royale
solid,
is
pretty solid win rate into a battle royale. So I was like, "Oh, I'm not awful as much as I thought I was." So that was
Were you
kind of
Were you just playing the battle royales, or did you try out what the heck is that other mode called?
Arena.
the arena.
Arena.
Yeah, no, we started the arena so I could remember what all the controls were.
Gotcha. Okay.
We did like a couple rounds of the arena, so I'd be like, "Oh, this is how I do things," and then we did the battle royales.
Nice.
So that was nice.
Did you run
also-
into any hackers?
No.
No. Oh, that's a much better games are hacked rate than
Why
Warzone.
do you think people went from Modern Warfare over to Apex? Oh, and is there still duos in that game?
That's what we were doing. Yeah, we're
Okay,
doing
cool.
duos.
Nice.
Yeah, before my friend got on, I did a single by myself, and that was one of the ones that I won, which
Wow.
is surprising because it was a triple. Like it was like the trio teams, and one of my teammates disconnected at the jump, and then the second one decided to fight a 1v3 and died like right off the bat. And I was like, I'm not going to get any of your shit. I'm gonna be over here. I'm getting guns. Like I'm not gonna start a fight. And I like lasted all the way to the end. I had decent gear, and I was like, okay, there's probably like going to be another team or something. It was just another guy that somehow lived. It was another single, so it was just
Same
like a
scenario.
1v1
Wow.
at the end. Yeah, and I was like, oh, cool, and I beat him, and I was like, awesome.
You sure
that was-
this wasn't like an Alex scenario where you're like, oh, I freaking won, but it turned out it was bots?
no bots?
Valid
It was-
question.
It was
Very
no bots.
sure.
Yeah.
It's
I've
happened
been
more
sure
than once,
before.
actually.
So
Yeah.
many times with Alex.
They keep
the
on
name was
getting
like
better at
crypto
naming bots. Okay.
unless the bot's name was like crypto hamster
I'm serious,
something
dude.
or other.
The whatever generators they've been coming up with lately for bot names, they sound exactly like dumb people on the internet making names for their characters.
XX420, X420.
Oh yeah,
Or maybe
100%.
people are just becoming stupider. And
I think that's also a contributing factor. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't take it for granted anymore. When I was playing Splitgate, I texted Chad to make sure that it was bots or people,
Hey, I
and it was
really need
bots.
to know.
You had to know.
I'm losing really badly. Are these bots that good, or am I playing against real people?
No, I was wrecking everybody. I was
No,
like, "There's no
yeah,
way. There's
I-
no way." I texted Chad. He's like, "Yeah, the first 10 games is bots." So I was like, "Okay, cool."
Alright, cool.
And then last thing that I've been playing is I've been trying to get back into some Pokemon Go. Been walking around trying to do some raids and kinda
Outside?
get back into it. Yeah.
no, he's walking around in his living room.
Weird.
I mean, also the fact that they increased they reverted back to the pandemic distances definitely make it a lot easier to get back into and play more. So that's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Jake John Jim, what have you been playing?
That's me, Jake John Jim.
Yeah.
Jim.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
Jim.
adding J names.
Okay.
yeah.
We're gonna get there.
Psychonauts 2 came out like 2 days ago. So I was streaming that for like 3 hours yesterday. It's really, really good. I mean, I wasn't really sure what to expect. You know, the first game came out like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, can they do it again? And so far, I think they have. The writing's really funny, which is, you know, the thing that seems most likely to go wrong. The platforming's really tight. The combat is much better than the first game. You know, the style's good. They kept... Psychonauts, right, PS2 game, it was very cartoony, not very, like, HD. So, like, you know, updating that, you kind of worry you're going to lose the character, but I think they did a really good job of making it look good while retaining kind of the cartoony style of the first game.
Yeah, it looks like it really matches that style.
Yeah. No,
It
I'm
almost looks
surprised.
like it's like run through an AI upscaler
Yeah. I mean, it might be.
from the original because it's like really nice high resolution but like low poly like PS2 looking models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, it is crazy how much fun I had with it. So I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. I'm gonna keep streaming it. I'll stream again tomorrow.
I watched a bunch of the VOD. I couldn't catch it yesterday when you were alive, but I watched a bunch of the VOD, and how excited you were about things that were coming back made me excited about it. And I actually never played the original. Is the
Oh,
sad
really?
part.
Really?
So I like didn't get a lot of the references. So now I'm like, man, should I like emulate the original or something and play it?
Yeah.
And then
Honestly,
You should.
I
Yeah.
would recommend it. It's
Yeah.
there's
really
a
good game.
Steam version that's I
Oh, is
believe
there really?
pretty good. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I think I've played it. Yeah, I've played it.
I have to look into
It's
that
good.
then.
But it's oh man. Speaking of that, I guess I'll touch on some of that stuff. So there were these collectibles in the first game that were kind of I feel like they were kind of divisive, called figments, like figments of your imagination. And it was just like a collectible. They were all over the goddamn place. There were like hundreds of them. And it was like kind of too much. So I was like, those are going to get cut, but they're back. There was also like emotional baggage, which was another thing. You had to like find a tag and take it to the bag, and you would like get a little. They would like do a little song, and they would go away. And I was like, that's too cumbersome. They're gonna cut that, but that's back. So yeah, like Alex said, it's been really cool to see everything come back, but everything also kind of like updated for a new generation. We'll see. We'll see if it sticks the landing. You know, I'm only like 1-ish level in, maybe 2 if you count the tutorial. But yeah, so far so good. I have also been playing Boyfriend Dungeon, which I think you guys talked about last time.
Yeah, I
Owen did.
roughly, yeah.
Okay. I'm almost done with it. I think I'm done all of like the gameplay stuff, like all the dungeon crawly stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to share. My coworker watched me stream this once, and he described this game as The Sims plus Call of Duty Nazi zombies,
Excuse me.
which is the worst description I've ever heard.
That's
That
pretty
sounds
bad.
like Aaron's.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say. Are
Aaron
you sure it
analogy
wasn't
for a game.
Aaron?
I mean,
I hate you all.
Is Aaron
Um,
your friend? Okay.
yeah, it was Aaron. I work with Aaron secretly. But yeah, no, it's I had more fun with this than I expected. I thought it would be kind of like a dumb visual novel that I play, you know, where it's like it's fun in like a goofy way, like I have fun with it, but it's not like a good game. But like the combat is, I think, tighter than I expected. It's got a really nice like Persona-esque kind of system where you go hang out with them in the real world, which gives you buffs for the dungeon, and then use them in the dungeon to unlock more moments with them in the real world. So it's kind of like a very nice feedback loop where like you play with the weapons you like, which lets you hang out with them more, which makes them better in the dungeon, which is really, really cool. The writing, again, better than I expected. I feel like this kind of stuff can end up really cringy. And I think for the most part it's good. There are some that aren't great. There's a character who I think is supposed to be college age, but seems like they're about 12 years old, which makes me really uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Don't like that. I'm always like, you gotta go. You gotta get out of my game, you weird child. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool.
I was always worried the gameplay would be really clunky because it was at the PAX
yes,
booth, right?
Yeah. When we played this at PAX, an earlier build, and it's not great. You know, I wouldn't call it amazing, but I had more fun with it than I did when we played it at PAX.
Okay.
Is really all I can say. Yeah. Maybe that's just context or whatever.
I saw on the Steam page, there's one of the characters is a cat, which I think is
Yes.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
I was
And
very
then-
surprised about the cat showing up.
Also, like at the very bottom of the description, it's like, don't worry, there's no like weird romance stuff with the cat.
Yeah, you do not fuck the cat, which is good. But yeah, no, it's just
Could have
good.
been catastrophic.
Who are you,
Like
Goddamn
catastrophe.
That hurts.
who are you going after? Who is like your weapon of choice?
Valeria the dagger.
Yeah.
I think this game has a problem because she's the most powerful weapon and also the coolest character,
Yep.
which is kind of weird. You know, you'd think you would try to make everyone kind of cool, but she's kind of the coolest in every way, shape, and form.
Part of the like
they probably
whatever
tried.
Rose group,
Yeah.
which was really neat.
Yeah, I mean, right, there's also there's like a businessman and he's like a rapier and he's really boring. There's a dude who's like a scimitar, but he's like a weird scimitar, and he's like a gross kind of club guy. I didn't like him at all. Then there's the
Yeah.
12-year-old, didn't like him. The cat's fun, but you
Cat's
can't
fun.
date the cat. So it's like wasting my time here.
What about like the K-pop guy?
Yeah, I don't like him either, really. There's
Yeah,
like
a
an
lot of-
idol, and he just kind of doesn't seem to give a fuck, which is like, oh, okay. But maybe someone's into that. I'm not.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the other options, like there was like obviously like one or two options they put a lot of effort into, and you're like, oh, like these are really cool. And then kind of everybody else, you're just like, why would you choose these people? Like there's nothing interesting about their character that you would want to date them. They all kind of seem either there or assholes, and you're like,
Yeah.
no.
Well, and some of the weapons, like the scimitar, right? It can do like bleed damage, but everything dies in like 5 hits anyways. So like, what the hell do I need bleed damage for? I'll just hit him again, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the dagger does 1 billion damage, hits really hard, and can stun people. That's all I need, dude.
Seems really good.
And if you stun someone, you can get an upgrade where when they're stunned and you hit them, you crit them.
Nice.
So you kill them in like 2 hits. Why would I need bleed damage? Fucking stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I also and like Jake is you're paused, and we briefly discussed this. The reason why you're paused is a problem I have with this game, because I think that it's a good game, but it is very weird that you have to talk to a specific person who is an asshole.
Yeah,
And
he's actually the worst, like by design, the worst.
Yeah, he is designed to be like the worst human being imaginable, and you have to talk to that person. You can't just ignore their text messages or whatever. You have to talk to them in order to progress through the storyline to get to the ending, which I was like, this seems kind of bad. It also seems bad that they don't mention that you have to talk to him. I figured it out because I heard people complaining about having to talk to him on other like forums and stuff. And I was like, that seems weird. I wonder why. And then I got to where Jake is, where it's just like, you finished the 2 dungeons. You don't have anything else to do, and it doesn't tell you what else to do. And then you're just like, oh, I guess I just have to respond to this douchebag's text messages to eventually get to the final boss.
Yeah.
And that just seems kind of poor game design in general.
Yeah, it seems like if it's gonna be forced, like, force me to do it.
Yeah, it's just like, it forces you to do it, and also in a game that's like they very much are trying to be sensitive to people's triggers and things like that. They're like very much like, oh hey, if you don't want to get text messages from your mom, we can turn that off before the game starts. And like, here's some trigger warnings and things about like, that there's some creepiness and things that happen in this game, and some, like passive aggressive things and some kind of rape culture stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you for all these warnings. But then why do you make me live through this? Like, it just seems weird that if you have all of these other things there, why is this such a main component of the game?
Right. Yeah.
But otherwise, solid pickup, and I would strongly recommend it because it's a lot of fun, and the writing is very funny. At least I thought so.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. The last thing I've been playing, so backing up to give this a little context, I've been playing platformers kind of passively lately. It's kind of become like my go-to, like, I have an hour to kill, let me just pick up a platformer and play. So I picked up I've had the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy for a long time, and I finally went through and played Crash 1. Crash Bandicoot Original. Well, the remake, I guess, whatever. I'd never played it before. And that game... Never had a PS1. Started at PS2. That game's annoying. That game's really fucking frustrating, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
When you have to run towards the camera, that's so terrible. I don't know who ever thought that was a good idea.
No, it's good. Get out of here.
It's bad. That part is actually bad.
That's not even the difficult part.
Those aren't the problems I had issues with either. I feel like they're just sometimes the levels just get really hard and you have like 3 lives.
The dumb like rope levels
bridges. Oh my gosh, they just
are ridiculous.
So honestly, with the remake, I feel like they should have just been like, hey, do you like just want infinite lives? Like, do you not want to waste your time with this bullshit of like getting halfway through a level, hitting the hard part, dying 3 times, and then having to start the whole thing again?
I'm surprised they didn't just do that just so that people could play through story mode, because this came out for people just to play again. It's not like I would guess they're not introducing Crash Bandicoot to a whole new family of fans.
You know what? They made a 4th game, right? Technically a different studio, but whatever. Crash 4 came out, and it has the option. Do you want infinite lives? Or do you want, like, classic mode with lives? Which, no, nobody wants that. It's terrible. We stopped doing it for a reason.
Yeah, that game.
God.
There's a level you unlock after you beat it. That's like the level that wasn't originally included in the game because they thought it was too hard and they took it out.
I don't honestly. Credits rolled, and I was like, I'm not even gonna look at this.
That level's dumb. Like, I didn't finish it. I was like, no, this is it. We're done with this game.
Also, I don't know if this is just me being bad with analog sticks, but there are several times where, like, the game's kind of 2D. Like, you're running from left to right, so it might as well be 2D. But, like, I'll just cheat a little too far forward, and Crash will just fall off the front. And I'm like, why? Why? Why was this even in 3D? Just make it 2D! Oh, my God.
So not as good of experience as playing the other 2 from the Insane Trilogy.
I haven't really played. I played a little bit of 2 and 3. I didn't want to talk. I have a lot of thoughts on platformers. And I had 2 other games I want to talk about, so I wasn't going to, like, Alex it up. and just talk for like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Oh,
brutal. But so
So,
true.
I'll circle back to it, but yeah, Crash 1, very frustrating. Some levels are really fun, but mostly I felt like it was really frustrating.
All right, Alex. Don't pull in Alex. Don't Alex it up. It is your turn, though. Tell us about what you've been playing lately.
I have to add like 6 things to this list, I guess.
oh God.
I don't know. I played a little bit of Blightbound with Cassie and Caleb. That game came out in 1.0 like a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3-player. It's like a side-scrolly beat-em-up RPG thing. You collect minimal amounts of loot that you can put on your characters in between dungeons. So I wouldn't really call it like a Diablo-like.
Right.
It's 3 separate character classes that have unique abilities that kind of like sync together, so that's kind of fun. I'm playing a
Is it
magey guy.
3-player with 4 classes?
It is
No.
3-player with 3 classes.
I would be so mad.
I'm playing a magey dude that like can put shields on people and heal. So like my class that I play usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm playing a rogue,
Cat-
my class I play usually.
Yeah. You got like a smoky stuff that turns us invisible.
Got smoke bomb. Yeah.
Smoky stuff. I think
Got
it's just
2
smoke,
daggers.
probably. Yes?
Well, it's
Smoky
green.
stuff.
It's green, so
It's
it's
a
like
green smoke bomb.
Weirdly enough, you can produce green smoke.
Green
I know
smoke.
this is
I
crazy.
don't know. I
I know
don't
it's
know,
crazy.
man.
You remember those little like?
It's not natural. It's
small-
not God smoke.
No. You remember those small balls you could buy during like 4th of July when you were a kid, and you'd light
Yeah.
them, and they do all those different colors.
Yeah,
One of them was green.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have,
I know exactly
seriously?
what you're talking about.
No
You have no idea
idea.
what I'm talking about? They're like colored
Really?
smoke balls. That's all they are.
Yeah,
Just like a
I have
pack
no
of like
idea.
eight small. They look like
Alex
know,
and I had
cherry
deprived
bombs,
childhood.
essentially.
They
They're
literally
really
look like
close
cherry
smoke
bombs.
We were sheltered when it came to fireworks. So
Wait, did you guys have the little snakes? It was like a teeny tiny little black puck, and you light one in, and it just like
Yeah.
expands until it's
Those
a
are
full
so
snake.
weird.
no idea
Those
what you're
were
talking
so
about.
Oh my gosh!
You don't know what that
I
is?
love
We
that you
weren't
have
from the
no
country.
idea.
We had the little wispy things that you'd throw at the ground and they'd pop.
Oh, you don't throw that at the ground. You throw that at
But-
people.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I guess. That, it
Come on.
devolved into that usually. Or you'd just like put pressure on them until they snapped in your fingers.
Oh, I never
Did you
did
ever
that
toss
shit.
one in your
Jesus.
mouth and bite down?
Oh my
Okay, no.
god. What's
That's awful.
He was a maniac. You should have imagine growing up with that, man.
I
my
was
God.
a maniac child.
That was
for
like-
sure.
That was like
Aaron,
the extent of, I mean,
are
the
you
sparklers,
okay?
that and sparklers, and then like professional fireworks shows. And then that one
Oh,
time we went to
man.
Maine when we went and bought fireworks. That's like the
You
only other
guys
time.
missed
You
out.
didn't
You
do
never.
like fountains or
Yeah,
No,
like
no,
the
no.
little like
missiles.
tanks or cars that you'd like fire off and they just like scoop. Those are always a little
Yeah.
fun.
I think the key here is you never had an experience with a bottle rocket war. Where you like
Mhm.
get some PVC pipes with a cap and you light one and you toss in the PVC and then you aim it at somebody like a bazooka.
Bottle
Once
rockets.
again,
What about
amazing.
the
Sounds
Roman
very
candles,
dangerous.
man?
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
it's
we-
incredibly
Oh,
dangerous.
one time we did it across a pond. We were just like hiding behind trees and shrubs and rocks and like launching. Oh,
At least
it
there was a pond there.
I mean,
Oh,
Or, like,
yeah.
water.
don't worry.
Oh,
Very
sure.
few of those bottle rockets are going in the
How-
pond. Most of them
Yeah.
make it
How did
across.
we get here?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Green
Roman
smoke.
candles.
Green smoke.
The only thing I ever heard about Roman candles, every time they got brought up was, every year people lose fingers
to a
having
Roman
Roman-
candle?
having Roman candles fight
Yeah.
because they like misfire and explode out
They'll
the
like
side
shoot out
and
the
the finger
side,
goes,
yeah.
goes
Oh
off.
my god.
I
And I'm
do
like,
see-
great, never holding those with my bare hands.
Like
Always
once a
held those in
year.
your bare hands.
Once a year before July 4th, I always see a shower thoughts on Reddit where somebody's like, approximately 654 people are not going to have a single finger left on their right hand by the end of 4th of July. They just
Wow.
don't know it yet.
Right.
Yeah, awful.
I like how we had those factoids given to us, but then, hey, you're in elementary school. Go climb a volcano for a field trip. No problem.
Yeah. It's good times. So Caleb's character can make green smoke.
Yeah, that's how we got here.
Green smoke. All right.
Cassie's is like a tank. She can like shield and stuff, and she turns into a big boy with her ult. So I thought
Turns into a big boy. Wow.
Literally
I think-
turns into a bigger version of herself.
the combat pretty fun.
Yeah, base combat's pretty good.
The structure I think it could get old. We haven't really played a ton of it, but I think it could get old because it wants you to run the same missions over and over
Yeah.
with like varying levels of difficulty and collecting loot and stuff like that.
And it seems like the missions are actually identical when you run them.
Yeah.
Not like, procedurally generated or anything.
But bosses are pretty neat. Designs are kind of like Soulsy, Dark Soulsy, like weird grim creatures of darkness and tentacles. The only issue we had was like occasionally just we wouldn't be able to ready up, and we would have to like all restart the games or switch hosts or something. It was just broken.
Yeah, we couldn't start a level because the host usually couldn't ready up.
Super weird.
You'd think it'd be fixed by now, but
in general,
a lot of complaints about it.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of been the case with several multiplayer games we've been playing recently.
Yeah.
Descent.
Yeah.
Descent, yeah.
Names one.
Yeah.
In general, I think I'd recommend that game though, Playbound. I've also been playing a bunch of Jellybreak Deluxe on the new Wednesday
Just
co-op
jelly
streams we've
with
been
a
doing.
D.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah, so first of all, me and Cassie have been doing co-op streams. I think the plan is to continue like Wednesday afternoons doing some sort of co-op game. As long as she finds childcare.
Nice.
And yeah, we've been playing Jellybreak Deluxe. It's a 2-player 3D platformer, and it's cooperative in nature. So you are 2 different colors of this jelly that you're running around with, and you can hop on top of each other, and you form like a little mini tank thing. So the top guy can shoot, and the bottom guy is controlling movement. And you have a button that if you both hold, you swap places. And then there's a bunch of mechanics built around that swapping mechanics. So like there's platforms that only the green guy can stand on or only the orange guy can stand on, jump pads that work the same way. Just a lot of like mid-air swapping to be able to land on a platform and not fall through, that sort of thing. Kind of reminiscent of Joggernauts a little bit, except for like
way less chaotic.
Like Joggernauts is like impossible. This game is like it feels like a nice level of challenge, I think.
I was watching some of what you guys were streaming, and when you swap, like I'm watching it, somebody's like jumping from one platform to another, and the next platform needs to be the other character. But most of the time that's happening, I feel like the other character is like shooting backwards. So it felt like when you swapped, all of a sudden your midair jump, you'd like start moving the opposite direction because that character was pointed that way with the gun.
Yeah, it's definitely like being able to get your brain to switch modes to, I'm not shooting, I'm moving now, is kind of hard. And then there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'll realize like, I'm not moving, I'm shooting this direction that we're moving, but I thought I was moving, but I'm not. Or like, I'll forget that, we just swapped to me, like I gotta move off this platform that's about to fall, otherwise we're gonna die. And it's just like, it's such an impasse to get your mind to switch over. It's so weird. But that game's a lot of fun. There's like collectible little dudes in each level, so you gotta collect like the 3 little guys. And those paths are optional and usually like more challenging than the base level. So I think I like that sort of system where you have like the ability to give yourself a little bit more challenge. Yeah, overall, highly recommended, I think, for 2 players. I think you can also play it single player, but that sounds way lamer.
Sounds really
It does
easy.
sound lame because you're already coordinating everything.
Yeah.
I honestly, if you could play it single player and they switched the sticks on you, like the orange guy was always the left stick regardless if he was shooting or jumping, and the right guy or the green guy was always the right stick, and so it swapped you midair instead of just.
That'd be so hard.
Yeah,
that'd make it difficult for sure.
That might be cool. Caleb, how about you? What have you been playing?
Well, last time I talked about all these Metroidvanias I played, right? Obviously on a Metroidvania kick again.
What? No.
So I played a couple more. I wasn't really a big fan of either one, but I thought I'd bring them up. The first one is called Record of Lodos War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth.
Oh,
that wasn't good.
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
Deedlit. What is Deedlit?
No. So Deedlit is the name of the character, it turns out, that you play as.
Terrible. Awful.
Yep. Deedlit. That's their name. People call him Deed, I think, most of the time, seems like. This game must be in some world or series that is well known, because as you're playing through it, you'll meet a character, and the main character will be like, oh, that's so and so, and I'm like, I don't have any. I've never met this person. I have no idea who they are. They don't even say their name half the time. They're just like, oh, look, it's the tavern guy who you can gamble with. I don't know. Why can you gamble in that game? No idea. It's very Castlevania like, so kind of slower combat than I usually like, and very lacking in impact. You just kind of flail your weapon around. So not terribly enjoyable combat for me.
It's
And
like a 90s anime.
it's a 90s anime.
Yeah.
Record of Lodoss War is?
Yeah.
Okay. I picked it up because it had really good reviews, and
Weird.
I like Metroidvanias. But I mean, it's just kind of subpar in general. Just not that great. I had the same experience with Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. Saw a bunch of good reviews about that. Picked that up a while back. Finally tried it out. It's just the only problem with Momodora is it's just kind of an older game, so it just doesn't have a lot of the modern stuff that I like in Metroidvanias.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't feel as good anymore. I imagine when it first came out, it was probably awesome. Just kind of dated now. And then I didn't have any more Metroidvanias to play, so I found some other games to play. I got this one, Unbound Worlds Apart, back to a while back. It's a puzzle platformer. I see that smile. Puzzle platformer, where the whole shtick is you can summon a portal to a different world.
Oh.
And it basically makes a big circle around your character that just stays there as you move on. That represents a different world where various things have been changed. So you like run up to a stone that you can't pass through, you change the world, and there's nothing there on the other side, so you can just walk past it. Or it'll change like a watery area into walkable ground, things like that. As you get later in the game, it adds mechanics to the different worlds. So in one, the gravity is flipped. You kind of have to bounce back and forth through various areas. And another one, it freezes time within the area. You got to kind of like move along these moving platforms and freeze them at the right time to get to a different spot, stuff like that. So it adds some pretty complex and interesting platforming mechanics. It's actually pretty good nearing the end. It's really easy at the start, kind of boring, easy. But the difficulty picks up. I think it's pretty interesting. Cool. It's also got a really pretty art style. And last thing I played... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Go.
Last thing I played was this game called Nowhere Prophet. It's a tactical kind of card battling game. Like to place out your minions and activate abilities on them and stuff. It's got some interesting mechanics where if a card gets defeated, it gets wounded. And then it costs less to play, but has less health later. And if it ever gets killed a second time, you lose it permanently. So like as you're traveling through the overworld, you're trying to pick up these cards, these people, and trying to build up your deck while also losing people during fights. So it's kind of an interesting push and pull kind of thing as you travel through the overworld. That part's kind of neat, but the actual gameplay, I think just that system is not something I enjoy, like placing minions and having them fight each other. So it was fine.
Just fine.
Yeah,
You
it's
played a
roguelike
lot of
too. So
you played a lot of just fine or less than fine games. This
Unbound was pretty
Fortnite.
good. The others were all fine or less.
Less than
Yeah.
fine.
It wasn't a great couple weeks of games.
Sure.
Rough.
Too bad. Chad, did you have a great couple weeks of games?
Here and there. Depends.
No.
It depends if you're talking about Dota or not.
True. So, picks up Tribes of Midgard, and it is a Viking kind of like town protector builder, like going out questing. It's weird. It's a worse version of Valhalla.
Valheim? Oh,
Or Valheim, yeah, that one. I don't know. It's like maybe if I play with like multiplayer or co-op, like it might be a little better. You like collect souls every time you kill something, and then you can like upgrade your town that way.
The Souls like.
True. It's weird because when I first saw it, it was back when I was for some reason looking up tower defense co-op games.
Why?
I don't know. I think we were talking about tower defense games, and we're like, well, what, is that one co-op? I think there was one free on Epic at one point, and then somebody asked if it was co-op, and then I started doing research into co-op tower defense games, and then this one came up, which you can play with 10 people. So it seems really cool, and maybe something we could try out for the 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
For a little bit. The $20 price tag, so that depends on how well the game actually is. It's got some nice reviews though, so I mean my review could probably expand once again if I played multiplayer.
Yeah, I've got my friends that were playing Apex were playing that before Apex, and they were like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna do Apex later." But like, yeah, they were playing it and they seemed to really like it.
Yeah, there is because there's like random camps you can walk up on, and then you can loot stuff, and you can choose the path of like, do you want to run swords? Do you want to run axe? Are you going to be an archer? Are you like kind of you can craft
Like a
your
Souls-like.
character. You can craft your character into like the direction that you want to go and upgrade, kind of like New World. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I like once again, if I played with some friends and played a little bit more, because I only played like a half an hour to an hour of it to actually check on Steam. I didn't play much, 37 minutes exactly. So I didn't really get a good taste of it.
Yeah.
But from what I actually played, like it seems interesting, and if I played more of it, I would have a better yay or nay on it. Anywho, moving on. We had family game night with my parents last night, and I suggested that we play Raft.
Yeah. How'd
I
that go?
played that game way back when it came out in like 2018, and it was literally just you're on a raft and you're just building. I played with Travis actually, and he quit on me and never came back and dropped off his planet.
Too
so
Too soon.
You know. Anyways, it's weird because you start on this like 2x2, so there's like 4 squares that you start on, and then there's a bunch of debris. You're hooking stuff out of the water, getting wood, plastic, scrap, etc. And then you have this like progression of a research table, because I mean it's a survival crafter, and without a research table, how are you supposed to expand your craft abilities?
Right. Of course.
You have food and water that you have to get, and so you're fishing or they've added a lot actually. There's the islands used to be super tiny, and you could literally see to the other side of the island as soon as you pull up with your raft. But now they're giant. I got lost on some because of how big they were. Alex actually died on one yesterday, and it took me forever to find him. Funny story about that is Alex and I jump off onto the island. Alex dies. I'm thinking the anchor. Well, actually, we didn't anchor. I'm thinking that the boat was stuck enough to where we could just like we're relaxed and we're cool. Like it'll be there when we come back. I hear Alex is dead. My father goes, "Oh, he's dead. Let me go find him." And he jumps off the boat. So now it's just my mom on the boat. And then she goes, "Where are you guys? I'm drifting away."
Oh no.
And I'm like, "Oh gosh." And so I was like, "All right, what you got to do is you got to drop the sail, and you got to angle the sail towards the island, where you're going to be pushed towards the island." And she's like, "There's no sail." I'm like, "How's there no sail? There should be a sail there." And then she's like, "It's wanting me to place it down." I'm like, "How did you pick it up? You literally would have had to hold X to get rid of it." Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so my father ended up getting back on the boat, grabbing the sail, throwing it down, and directing it back to kind of back to us. But because the current is so strong, can't actually make it back to the island. So I had to carry Alex all the way through the water, like a good distance, to get back onto the boat. And the shark didn't attack us. Pretty cool.
Family game night is a little rough sometimes.
What? Come on now.
I'm not usually into survival crafters, and I think this kind of follows the same formula. It's kind of interesting for now, at least, because the hook mechanic is really good, so that's fun to like poke stuff out of the water as it passes you. And 2, I don't know, I like the idea of it. You're like building a base, but also you're always moving and exploring at the same time. Like instead of just being like rooted to the space that you've started making stuff, you're constantly moving anyway. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes as we get further into it.
Another thing that I haven't played too extensively to a point where like I know if this is true or not, but there is a space that you can create that is a literal net, and that net will now act as your hook to grab the scrap and debris and stuff, where you no longer have to focus on grabbing the materials. It'll just come to you. And so it's different than most survival crafts because you always have to go out and find the material. This you're just going to hover over like a Hoover vacuum and just suck up all of the debris, and then you're going to go around in that circle that you built, or if you built it in a line, and just grab it real quick, and then you're able to build whatever you want from that. The only things that you need to go and look for is like clay or sand or stuff like that, to where it's more extensive for your building. But to build your base, like the what is it, the monotonous stuff of like, I need to put like some more floor down. Now we need to go cut down like several hundred trees in order to get the wood in order to build my. You don't have to. There's not that involved in this.
The Valheim moment where we planted like hundreds of trees and then harvested them that one time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that I think takes away from the monotonous stupidity that happens inside of a survival crafter. What's going on here?
Oh.
Oh no, the
That's
podcast
good.
is canceled.
He was the recorder. What happened?
Yeah.
I'm back.
You're not
Let
recording.
me just hold on. We're good.
Yeah, sorry,
I'm back.
you guys were boring, so I
Started again.
booted you.
I don't know what happened.
How did you get disconnected?
I have no idea. I was just sitting here.
Nobody
Not
else
even
got
touching anything.
disconnected. You
I don't know.
were still on camera too.
I know. I don't know.
When did you get disconnected?
Like you were just in the middle of talking. I don't know what specific spot.
Aaron doesn't listen when we talk, so
Spark Notes quickly. Everything will just come to the nets. You don't really have to find all the scraps that you need to build your base. Like in Valheim, you have to go cut down a bunch of trees. That doesn't happen in this story. It makes the game pacing a little bit faster. I think that's probably what you missed. Anyways, moving on. Raft is cool. I think Raft is also very cool for newer players that haven't played a survival crafter before because it's not punishing. So you're able to kind of do your building. I think my parents feel important because they always have material and they're like, what do you need? You need plastic, you need wood? All right, here you go. And then they'll like throw it out and then I'll like go and build something, or like Alex kept making me force them to build something to where they can learn how to do some of the stuff. So it's a really cool game. I'll be excited to see how far we can actually get in it before people get bored of it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's just kind of the case with. Yeah, I feel like that's just kind of the case with survival builder crafters in general. Like at some point, it's just like, all right, this has run its course. Time to move on to something else.
There is actually an end game to this that you can reach, so I think that's pretty cool. Kind of the same following of Valheim, where you actually have a specific goal you're trying to reach. Within this, you're actually trying to reach a specific island in order to explore it and like save yourself from this constant drifting or something like that. That's cool. Other than that, just spamming a lot. And when I say a lot, like a lot of Dota.
Every day.
A lot.
Sometime between 3:30 and 3:58 p.m. I just get a text from chat. Now it's not even a text. He just likes a previous comment of mine where I've said D ? That must mean he wants
The
to
other
play
day,
Dota.
it was like 2 p.m. and everybody jumped the channel. I'm like, what is people doing?
we gotta play Dota, Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
2 p.m.
know
on
what-
Tuesday.
has
Have you-
happened.
Have you looked at the heat map on Dota Buff for your play? Because there's like, it's like full of colors, and then it like slowly dies out, and then it's kind of nothing for like 2 years, and then it's like full of colors all of a sudden again.
You're talking about
Pretty
me
funny.
or Caleb's?
Anybody, any of the three of us that have started playing a lot
Yeah.
again.
I was
Yeah.
actually texting Travis today. Well, actually, I texted him yesterday because he said something, and I said, "Come play Dota." And I remember what it was. I texted him about Guild Wars because it's the actually in 2 days. It's the 9th year anniversary of it, and so I texted him and said, "Guild Wars 9th year anniversary," and then I said, "Where's your credit card?" Because
Inside joke.
that's a whole inside joke of him needing a credit card in order to get his serial key back from ArenaNet, because that's how they do their security. But his credit card got fraud, and he switched his credit card, and he didn't have that credit card, and for like months, even years probably, I was telling him to find his credit card. So then he said he felt old, and then I said, "Come play Dota." We started playing that in 2013, and he's like, "We started playing that in 2013," and this whole thing. So yeah, January 5th, 2013 is my first match.
I had a conversation with Travis. He told me that he thought Dota was going to be the last game that we all ever played. Like, because we got really into Dota, and then that would go for a while, and then everybody would be old enough that we would like move out of video gaming
Yeah.
into like real life. And so he thought that it was eventually Dota was gonna fade, and everybody else was gonna stop playing video games. And
That would require any one of us to grow up.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. Sounds boring.
The only
Yeah,
person
right.
that did that was Travis.
yeah, it sounds kind of like what Travis did.
And
Oh,
anyone
man.
listening who doesn't know Travis, this is gonna be good content. Huh?
Is he
Yeah.
still listed on the?
I think so.
He got
I
taken
think
off.
he is. Yeah. Oh, he did get taken off. Oh.
Yeah, I think he
Oh,
got taken
womp
off.
womp. Never
Uh-huh.
forgetting.
He's actually he's the one that did the most successful YouTube video on our channel.
True.
That's true.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we still get comments on that. People saying, "Oh,
Yep.
you say it's free, but you have a hammer. Did you steal a hammer?" And
Where'd
it's
you get all these
like,
power tools? It's not free.
Calm
Oh my
down.
Anywho, I don't know if something has like either just me just being able to slow down and read and not just want to play a shooter, or what has clicked with me in Dota, but like I feel like I am so much better at it now than I used to be. And it's just way more fun, especially because I'm actually like I have, I guess, a role that Aaron and Alex usually don't play, or like we can play hand in hand. And so it's like really fun not to just try to be like carry every single time and then like force somebody out of carry.
I bet it's all those hours of Pokemon Unite.
Yeah,
Paying
probably.
off.
You're right.
Yeah, that's
You're right.
gotta be it.
That's definitely it.
I don't know. You still run into the same bad eggs on that, or bad apples on
Yeah.
that game. Like it's just, man.
Honestly,
We've
I wish
had-
we just had a group of 5 that we played with again. It really sucks to have to play, competitive games where you're playing on teams like that with a bunch of randos, especially
Yeah.
when it's a 45-minute commitment.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
And,
know,
you know-
nothing about playing a team game without anybody else. That's fucking weird.
Y'all have
yeah.
a perfect setup here. You all play, and I'll go do something cool.
Shh, no.
It's perfect. Yeah. No.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of course. Yeah, I'll go. I've been playing a lot of Dota 2, of course. Yes, our charts. I have looked at the Dota buff charts, Alex, and it is funny to see it because it's like a whole bunch of color where it's showing you played like a bunch of games and wins or losses, and then it's just nothing. Just a big blank section of the chart, and then it was just ramped back up. I love Dota. It's like the most complicated yet most intriguing game I think I have ever played. It's just, there's just so much to it, so many characters, so many ways to approach things, and when you have a good team fight, literally nothing beats that. Especially when you're playing against a team that you feel like outclassed by. If you can somehow out team fight them, out angle them, out whatever, it's very, very satisfying.
Some might say it's the greatest game ever made.
Some might say.
I do want to point out one
You
thing.
might say.
I did the math because Travis and I were talking.
Yeah.
We have 465 hours less time played combined than Alex does total.
Alex played a little Dota, guys. Just a
You
little bit.
you gotta go look at, because I mean, not all that is actual play time. You gotta go
You
look
know,
at
It's
like
not
the
fair to go off of hours. Go off of like money spent. That's a better.
There you go.
Mm.
Good point, Jake.
In
Good
Dota
point.
buff-
valid point.
and Dota buff, it calculates your actual hours played, like based off of the time of the matches. So it's excluding like sitting in the client waiting for people to get on or whatever.
Oh yeah, so you're
Let's
saying
see.
that's what's contributed to all your hours? It's
Mhm,
just
that's
waiting
what
on
it
other,
is.
waiting on your
or
friends.
like, or like I'll leave it on mistakenly, or that would be
What you doing?
gambling, and that's a while.
Uh-huh.
On the other end of the spectrum, Aaron and I combined are only 450 hours above Alex.
You must not have that many hours in Dota.
I have 2,404.
Holy crap. Alex, you have
Good
that
lord.
many hours in Dota?
Because you
He's
have,
over 5,000.
I have
man.
over 3,000.
Yeah, you have 3,324. 0.5 to be exact.
And how many hours did Owie say he played Dota? We think we talked about this 2 weeks ago, but
He said 40,000.
that's
Professional
just
player.
incredible. Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
Alex
It's
has
been- I mean, I think-
5,277.7.
I'm pretty sure he's just counting Dota 1 time also in that.
right,
Mm,
probably.
Because it's essentially the same game. They just ported
I
it.
mean, if he has played 40,000 hours since Dota 2 came out in 2013, no, 2012, 11, somewhere in there. That's still a lot of commitment over a 10-year
Yeah.
period. So yeah, I've been playing some Dota. I also got back into Neon Abyss. I put quite a few hours in it over the last 2 weeks. If you've never played Neon Abyss, it is a roguelike action platformer. It's kind of like a mixture between Enter the Gungeon and Binding of Isaac. You play as part of the Grim Squad that Hades has recruited to go get hell back for him from all of these quote unquote new gods. Which, by the way, the new gods they're pretty cool names. It's like the Tick and Talk, the god of mobile videos, or Sam and Sung, the god of screens,
Oh my
or
God.
Chain and Block,
So-
the god of Bittercoin.
By good names, you mean horrible
Awful.
names.
Oh, yeah.
Awful,
absolutely awful names. But you fight through these new gods, you defeat them, and then you go face the managers, which is like the same set of gods. So the first 4 dungeons, you'll face a random god out of the big group of what they call the new gods, and then you face the managers from level 5 on. They've made quite a few updates to the game. They have like 60 plus guns. They have over 500 pickups now, including pets. They've made some item sets now that you can pick up and gain special abilities. They also have pet merges. So if you pick up the right sets of pets, they merge into like a new, more powerful pet, which is kind of cool. And the newest thing they launched is the Call of Hades update, which when you beat the final god Prometheus, you get invited back into like Hades has a room above the bar. It's like a club entrance, and you go talk to him for a minute, and he's like, "Yeah, so listen, I know you've beaten everybody. I want to change the game a little bit, so we're going to introduce you to the dev, and then if you want to, you can unlock some special things with it." So you find this secret door, and you open it, and you walk inside, and you're literally outside of the game world, standing inside of a different room where there's a guy writing code on a computer, and then you get cheat codes from him, and you can change the way the game works, which is just kind of fun.
That's cool.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, the game it's just really cool. I have not played through I probably but a few times and had a similar build. Most of the time, it's so dramatically different. From the item pickups to the weapons, and it's just fun. There's a whole bunch of unlocks too. They've added almost 10 screens worth of upgrades, is what they call them. You unlock those with all of the coins you get from the bosses, so you can change again rooms, game mechanics, special rooms. It's very, very Binding of Isaac in terms of room layout and boss fighting. Very good game. They also
What is
added 3 new
up
gods
with-
too.
Yeah, what is up with Greek gods and roguelites?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't.
Well, these
I
guys
mean-
they have some connection to the actual Hades developers, right?
No, I was
The
The
confused.
Supergiant.
I had to go read the story, but it's just
Oh.
literally. Thank you, Chad, for that chart of Dota colors when we've been playing. I had to go read the story. That's why, the guy who invites you to go down to the dungeon is Hades. So he's the one that's talking about how he's decided to make some changes, some adjustments to the dungeons, if you will. It's not
Okay,
even a dungeon.
unrelated from Supergiant. Games.
Unrelated, yeah, unrelated. But really cool game. Try it out if you haven't played it. It's just a fun roguelike. Let's talk about a couple other things in Games World. Number one thing that multiple of us have played. 12 Minutes came out last week, I think on Friday. A game which at least I have been waiting on, and I know several others for, 3-4 years. We see it at PAX on occasion. I don't even know, has there ever been an actual demo at PAX, or do we just see footage of 12 Minutes?
I don't know. I never played it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever played it. Anyway, 12
Trailers.
minutes. Let's talk about this for a minute. This game is kind of interesting. I have mixed emotions, mixed feelings. I have completed it. Alex completed it. Chad completed it. Caleb, have you played through? No.
I haven't touched it.
Jake Owen, I'm assuming no.
I haven't
Negative.
touched it because I was waiting for your review.
So the game takes place, it's kind of like a top down. You're playing this guy. He basically walks into his apartment and then he's in a 12-minute loop and you have to figure out what's going on. You interact with things in the apartment, you talk to people, and you try to solve the puzzle. And at some point, you either die, or you wait too long, or you leave your apartment and the loop resets and you're right back where you started.
I really appreciate the leaving the apartment to reset the loop.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like an excellent
To manually reset it.
Yeah. You're like, shoot, I screwed up the order. Let me leave the apartment and restart this. Couple things about this game, from my perspective. The graphics are pretty lackluster. I feel like it's using all of my graphics card for some reason. But there is nothing in this game. They have made 6 rooms total, and it's just you and one other person usually walking around. Like, not even a lot of things that are interactable. You can interact with. Not a lot of. It's very minimal. I don't know what took them 5 years to develop it. My guess is it's just literally the decision tree. That's pretty much it. Because everything else in this game is.
The decision tree isn't even that extensive. That should.
It's not. Alex made a point. He was talking about like the graphics. Like I said, it looks kind of like The Sims, like top-down Sims. At one point, you're sitting at a table eating food, and he like dunks his spoon into the food, and no food disappears. He picks up the mug, he like shoves it in his face. The water disappears. It's not even like
it's like bad Sims animations, and like transitions between animations are real janky. So like she's walking smoothly, and then all of a sudden she'll stop and like T-pose for a second. Not actually T-pose, but like stands completely still, and then like jerk into like a sit down motion, and that animation's smooth to sit down. It feels like, in that respect, it's like way less polished than it should be, considering how long it took them to make the game.
You hand like an item to somebody, and instead of them holding the item and like while they're talking about it, they just put it in their pocket.
Yeah, they like reach their hand out and swipe it, and the item disappears. Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Lots of little polished things like that are kind of off. And then I think the general like content amount, like it's a really short game.
What did the devs say the like, total playtime was?
Yeah, before
12 minutes?
I would hope so.
Before How Long to Beat and everything came out, I was trying to look up what their estimations were, and they were saying 8 hours, and it's nowhere close to 8 hours. It took most of us around 4 hours, I think.
I completionist. I think I got every achievement, even though it's not showing up on Steam. I got
in 4 hours.
Every achievement in less than 4 hours.
So he says.
I played it. I think my playtime was like a little over 3 hours, and I'd completed one of the endings.
It does not sound like an 8-hour game.
No. Also, if it actually took me 8 hours to do that, I'd be so frustrated because I was already getting frustrated towards the end because like it's one of those things where it gets to the point where it's like, all right, what little small thing do I have to tweak to get this sequence to progress another step?
What did I not do in the exact right order?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you figure out the major things and you're like, I'm so close. What is the last thing I need to get this to go?
And it's not even that you you necessarily have to get know the steps, but you also need to know like where a specific thing needs to be in order to make those steps progress. Because like for instance, there's a photograph, like a Polaroid on the refrigerator at one point, and you're trying to show this guy of this picture. If it's in your pocket, he will not look at it. You just keep clicking on him, and you're like, sir.
It's got a real good Jason moment.
Yeah.
Gosh.
In two different aspects. There's one point where you can lock yourself to sir, and all you can do is click on the guy, and he's like, sir. And there's another way you can lock yourself to babe.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to talk to your wife, and you're like, babe. And it's like...
I don't know if you guys felt this way, but at certain points, you would find out new information, and so your tone of voice would change in the voice acting.
Yeah.
While you're like discussing with your wife, and then it would go right back to a previous voice, and I'm like, I was jarred because I'm like,
it's
all right, so
jarring.
we're emotional now
because they mix and match voice lines of like stuff you knew before and stuff you find out later, and the tone is different, and then they mix and match them in the same like paragraph or sentence even.
Kind of weird.
But
Not
it's like
not good so far, guys.
And so it's like you'll be there and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like I'm so sorry. And then you'll be like, so I gotta tell you this. And it's like, what just happened?
yeah.
I think those things, I mean, if it were an 12 hour game, I would give this a definite 2 thumbs down. But the fact that it's less than 4 hours, it's a cool concept. Learning what you're doing in the loop and then revisiting it and changing it slightly, adjusting it. Alex is right. It does get old quickly. So if it was a much longer game, it would be annoying and I would not have completed it. But I at least liked the story until basically the very end.
Yeah, I heard the ending was really bad. I've seen a lot of reviews talking about how bad the ending is.
There's like 4 endings. I hate all of them. They're all terrible.
Oh.
If you don't mind us ruining it, we'll tell you what the ending is, essentially.
I mean, it sounds like a game that I'm not going to play, so
The simple is, it's all in your head.
Yeah.
That's it. They wipe everything away by just saying.
And every
it's all in your
ending,
head.
it's in your head in a different way.
Yes.
And it makes me so angry that the entire story is essentially meaningless. Like, they just cop out at the end and they're like, oh yeah, actually, nah. None of that happened.
Small strange detail here. You're not going to play it, so it doesn't really matter. But small strange detail. Your wife turns out actually your sister.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, it's a good time.
Okay.
But you are like, you're losing it, right? So it's all in your head, and you've convinced yourself that you're just married, not that you were siblings in the past and were part of this traumatic event that changed your perspective.
Also, I mean, now that we're just telling everything, another thing that pissed me off is the game is not a 12-minute loop; it's a 10-minute loop.
That's true. It is a 10-minute loop.
The other 2 minutes come from a different part.
I don't think so. I think the first 2 minutes are you... Well, sorry, it is a 10-minute loop, but the first 2 minutes are you coming up the elevator and then walking into your apartment. But you never get to play those minutes over again.
I guess.
It seems to me like a weirder version of, what is it, The Outer Worlds?
Is that Outer Wilds? Okay, don't say anything about that game because I've been heavily considering playing it lately after playing this and being
really
disappointed.
Good.
Yeah, it's very
I mentioned
good.
that it's really good.
And I did like playing it, but I also remember being extremely frustrated playing it when I was like, okay, so I figured this thing out. And I know I got to figure out this puzzle, and I know I'm over here, and just trying to figure out the order to get to the ending was a pain in the ass.
Actually, I bought that the other day. It was on sale, so
you're gonna play it anyway, so who cares?
I will say I think I like 80% of this game.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair,
So
I think endings.
the ending ruins it. I think the ending actually ruins the game.
So you should just play 80%
I don't
of the
know
game
that
and then be like, all right, I got the end.
I don't know
Yeah.
that it ruins it, but I don't like that they chose that to just brush away literally everything.
What? I must have missed one of the endings because I never saw that it was all in his head.
I mean, that's you have to make
endings.
you have to make the logical leap that none of the other stuff is real because of what happens in the library. Like, the timeline, first of all, doesn't make sense at all if you think that it all actually happened, because supposedly that scene is supposed to happen 8 years in the past.
But
except for they're talking about things that happen in the present, though.
Yeah. I think
that right there makes it even worse. That I just have no idea. Because I assumed they were just poorly writing how everything, how the father died and how she got to New York and how I just thought it was all poorly written.
Nope. And then
the
also,
timeline doesn't matter if it's literally all in his head.
The cop and the father/therapist are the same character, except for not. But they're both voiced by Willem Dafoe.
God, this is even worse.
Wait, they're not the same character, but they're both voiced by Willem Dafoe?
They're the same entity, I guess you could say. He's projecting that image of the person to be the cop figure in his fantasy.
Okay.
Man.
That's another thing. Voice actors in this game, Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, and James McAvoy. Which also, I could listen to the main character's voice 100 times, and I would not be able to tell you that's James McAvoy.
No, it doesn't sound like him.
Not even one bit.
I don't know that he has that, recognizable voice.
I feel like I could. I don't know. I don't even know that I could tell that it was
Willem
Daisy
Dafoe
Ridley.
obviously does.
My impression was Willem Dafoe's good. And the other two, I feel like they could have gotten any video game voice actor and actress and been fine.
Probably.
And it wouldn't have made a difference.
I think my biggest holdup with this game is because they only have built 6 rooms in 5 years. Not everything you can interact with. I should be able to do literally anything I want inside of these rooms inside of the loop. But I am stuck. You cannot open a window. You cannot turn on the faucet. You can't open the oven. You can't. There's so many things you just cannot do. You're so restricted, so limited. And then at one point you even get a phone. You really can't do anything with the phone until you find other people's phone numbers. You can't just dial random numbers and call them. You can call 911.
You don't have a contacts list?
You don't even have your own phone number. You don't even have your own phone.
Yeah, the only thing it shows you on the phone is like recent text messages.
There's like 5 of them.
And yeah, does it show anything? There's another screen. What does it have on there? Just the dialer. That's the other screen.
The dialer. That's it. Very, very progressive.
And you supposedly have a phone. That's the other confusing part to me. You have a phone somewhere. You have the option to call yourself, and it rings, and your answering machine picks up. But I don't know where your phone is. It's nowhere. It's not in the game.
I don't know.
You have to find and steal your wife's phone to be able to use a phone to solve the puzzle.
I was frustrated with the repetitive line of, all right, let me prove it to you that I'm in a loop. Click on something. Oh, the candle. What about it? Oh, you're right. What about the painting? What about it? Oh, you're right.
Oh, that's
when you're trying to prove that you're in a time loop tour. Yeah, you can click on like most things, but none of them actually do anything, and it's that voice line. The radio,
it's not sounding that great.
I feel bad that we're trashing it so much because I think it's actually
it sounds really good concept. It's just I think its delivery was. I mean, if it was like
I wouldn't say $25.
If it was like $10-15, I'd say I get it.
Yeah, I think it's too expensive
for a 4-hour game. That's
$9.99. Incredible, good soup.
Good soup. I think so. The one thing that I liked. Not the one thing I liked, but there was something that happened when I was playing the game. It made me think a lot of the first Life is Strange for some reason, and I think it's just the mechanic of being able to like redo conversations. This is like a less elegant way to go about it, I think,
because you got to reset everything.
Because you got to reset the whole day, but you get the same effect of like being able to redo conversations with people and choose different options and see how it turns out if that's the right outcome that you want and stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like that would have been a much nicer mechanic. If there's just one thing you're trying to figure out, you can try something, then just go back and try it again.
And like rewind a little bit.
Yeah, that seems just kind of cleaner.
Instead of like, well, I screwed this up, I'm going to walk out of the apartment and reset the whole loop.
I got all the way to what should have been the end of one of the endings, but I missed one step.
Oh, no.
And so I had to repeat the entirety of that loop again and make sure that I had that one.
And you can skip
we missed
dialogue.
the point. Yeah, you can skip your own dialogue, but when other characters are talking, you cannot skip it.
You just have to stand there.
No sense if it's in your head. If you're gonna go with that route, I should be able to just fast forward literally everything.
It would also make playing through the loops so much better because
quality of life type
like
stuff,
I said, if you missed, like, for instance, I didn't grab the pocket watch.
What were you thinking?
You fool.
And so I got all the way to the end. Boom. I was screwed on that ending and I had to redo it.
The classic is he needs to see the freaking photograph to understand that, you know, he's wrong. So you take the photograph to show him when he shows up and then your wife goes, you gotta look at the photograph. It's on the fridge. And he walks over to the fridge and it's not there. And he's like, there's no photograph. And then he kills you both.
Yeah, he's like, you're like, sir. Meanwhile, he's coming down, he strangles you. Oh,
yep. Mine was.
And it's like, well, crap.
Mine was. I'll get you the pocket watch because it's incredibly valuable and stuff's happening. Let me go to the bathroom again. I see what you're doing. Punch in face. Like, what? Where did that go? Like, what?
Oh, no.
We were just in an understanding. Like, we were. Oh,
I got in one loop where I told. One last thing I'll say before we move on. One loop where I told his daughter on the phone what he was planning on doing. And she called him, and he was like, okay, I won't do that. And he got in the elevator, and he left. And then I was just standing there with my wife.
Yeah,
And nothing happened.
There are like some things that they built into the game that are pretty funny that they let you do. Like you can get inside the apartment, and then before your wife realizes you there, you just hide in the closet and you just wait for the cop to show up, and you just watch him just like, kill her. And you're just like, yep, just in the closet.
So the one that Aaron was specifically talking about, that's actually a hidden achievement called Groundhog's Day or whatever. Which what you do is you just continue the day like normal. Like if you would have just got the dessert, opened the present, and then went to bed. And then it gives you, and then it restarts. Like you're basically in bed, you're falling asleep. Boom! It restarts the day. And it gives you the achievement.
Okay, all right.
Speaking of,
I would have had it, but
speaking of McAvoy, did you guys see the story that ran this week about how he was so obsessed with Oblivion that he had to microwave his game discs because he was
stop
playing it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was playing it so much. Apparently, he had some day that he like started playing Oblivion and he was like, "Oh, I'm only gonna play a couple hours," and then like he played until 5:15 in the morning, and his car to pick him up to go to the movie shoot was at 6.
Great.
And after that, he was just like, I can't do this, and so he had to nuke his discs so we could play it.
Bit disc to Oblivion.
imagine playing on discs.
Imagine. I was gonna say, imagine if he had the digital download instead.
man.
I just take out his hard drive and smash it with a hammer.
That's like the equivalent. Like if he would have done that, that's like the equivalent of the quitting the alcohol TikToks that I see, where they pour it in the sink and then they pick up a glass that they poured it into.
Speaking of
Amazing.
Oblivion, major news during QuakeCon, they announced that Skyrim is getting released again.
Finally,
Excellent.
right?
What this time?
It is the 10th anniversary edition, going to be released on November 11th, 2021, and it will be available on PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Oh.
Is Skyrim even popular?
Excuse me, but
Wait, the most important part, though, they have added
Yeah.
fishing to the game.
Oh.
I'm sure they did a
we
great
got
job
new
with it.
content, guys.
Game is complete now. We can go back and play it again.
Is Skyrim originally a PS3 360 title?
Yes, it
I believe
is.
so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the second generation hop that it's making.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, like GTA, Bethesda is going to continue to sell this game until they just cannot sell copies anymore.
Yep.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game.
Skyrim
No.
and GTA 5 are really competing.
See who can do it for the longest
Yeah,
time.
for who can do it for the longest.
I feel like there's like this thing that like Nintendo always makes a Mario game, and so these guys were like, well, yeah, we'll just make a GTA for every console as well. But the difference there is like Nintendo makes a new Mario game.
They
And
lost that
they
in
missed
translation.
that, in the translation from Japanese to American, and they're just like, nah, fuck it, we can just do the same game every console.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Amazing.
How many copies of Skyrim get sold still?
Probably a good amount.
You know, I give them shit. I own 3 different copies of Skyrim.
Yeah.
Owen, what are
I've
you
got one
doing?
on my Switch, I've got one on my Xbox when it originally came out, and then I got one on PC. So, like, I give them shit, but at the same time, I am part of the problem.
The only way I
Yeah,
play
I bought
Skyrim
it
anymore
twice.
is Nexus Mod Manager.
Yeah.
I mean, this article was published on, let's see, the 22nd, so 4 days ago, and it says, as of today, Skyrim has sold over 30 million copies.
30 million. I don't think that's like, in terms of highest selling games of all time, I don't think that's like
No.
close.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I think GTA 5 is like over 100 or something.
But
Over 100 million.
Does it matter if you could just Control C, Control V, and like you're done, and you now have another console that you're selling on?
Yeah.
Chad, we got Fishing. It's a new
Oh
game.
my god.
GTA 5 passed 150 million copies.
150 million.
Jesus.
How many of that is people getting banned and rebuying a copy?
Definitely
Who knows?
50 million.
I mean, if they sold all those copies of GTA 5, that's MSRP, that's $9 billion.
All right, so
And
they can make another
It's more than
GTA.
Star Citizen. Wow.
Yeah.
I've been starting to see more people being like, when is the new Elder Scrolls coming out? And every time I see somebody being like that, I'm like, you realize we still have a whole nother game to ship before they even start on that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
it's a long time until that game comes out.
I mean, it's been almost 10 years since they
It will-
released one.
That will be the next generation console.
I don't think like I think it's going to be like on the same engine still as like Starfield and stuff like that.
Of course
Like,
it will.
I don't understand, man. I don't understand Bethesda really.
I don't either. They do their own thing. Owen,
Yeah.
let's talk about Cowboy.
Yeah. Cowboy. Also known as a character in Overwatch that we can no longer call their name.
Yeah.
It was announced, actually, I believe earlier today that they're officially renaming a specific character that might have a high noon ability.
He has a
Hey.
first name, Jesse.
Jesse. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, so Jesse will be renamed, and because his last name apparently is part of the reason why Activision and Blizzard is under investigation in the first place.
Right. It's named after one of the top guys, that whatever they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
CEO, CFO, something.
And so they were like, hey, we're going to remove this person from our game, which is awesome. Cool. Thank you. They also said, hey, we're going to stop naming characters after, people inside of our company, which just generally, yeah, that seems like
Probably
good
good practice. Yeah.
I was
So you
really
don't have to do
hoping
this.
you would just leave it at they're going to stop naming characters.
Yeah, I thought that's where you're going to go.
This
too.
is the cowboy
This week-
guy.
This is Cowboy.
This week
This-
it's Soldier.
They're just going to have like archetype.
Soldier 76 is a character in Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they kind of did already start it.
Yeah.
Man.
It's kind of like Dota where everybody has like an actual character name, but most of the time you just call them by their like title.
Yeah.
That's like 50% of the characters. Then you have other characters like Luna, Lena.
I guess it is like half and half, whether
It's
they call them
very
by their name or their
strange.
title.
It's very strange that they do that.
Marana or Priestess of the Moon. Like,
Yeah. I don't know why that's the case. And then you have Axe,
Weird.
who's just an inanimate object.
X is X.
It's
Wielded
just- I
by
don't
a
know.
random guy.
Correct. You don't even know his name.
And then you have techies.
Why do you have to bring up techies,
No, you
Chad?
don't.
There's
You
literally
don't
no
have
reason to
techies.
talk about techies.
remove techies. Sign my position. My position.
Worst character.
Not
Sign my
signing your
position.
position.
Sign my position.
Hey, Jake, let's talk about a board game, can we?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Have you guys heard of this game called Villainous? It's a Disney board game.
Yes, I haven't
Yes.
seen it, but I haven't played it. Is it good? What?
I
Please tell me
played
more.
it for the first time, I guess at this point, like 2 weeks ago, something like that. It was a while ago. It's really cool conceptually, right? So you each play, it's up to like 4 players, I think. Actually, it might be all the way up to 6, something like that. But you each play like a different Disney villain. And what I really like about it is each villain has a totally different objective that they're trying to accomplish. So, like, I played Captain Hook. So my whole goal was to find Peter Pan and fucking murder him. Like in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then someone else was playing Prince John from Robin Hood, and his whole goal was just to get a whole bunch of money. Like, once he hit a certain amount of money, the next time his turn came around, he would win. And that's really cool, because each person is doing, like, a totally different thing, and it kind of ties back into their character. And I think that's really, really cool. Gameplay-wise, I wasn't really sold on it. I've only played it once, so this might have been, like, a case of not knowing the rules the first time, so I kind of just played sloppy, so I didn't have a great time rules-wise, but it felt kind of like, so like, again, I played Captain Hook, right? And so it's like, until Peter Pan is out, I'm kind of aimless. I kind of don't have a lot to do. Like, I get cards, and unless they're like, search through your deck to try to find Peter Pan, I'm just kind of wasting time. and that kind of sucks. There's also not a lot of interplay between people. You're pretty much independent. So the way it works, you have like a villain deck and a hero deck. Each character has their own. And so I can go and I can flip a card on, like, on Hades' hero deck, and something bad will happen to them. But, like, I can't play one of my own cards on Hades to mess him up. I can just be like, oh, something generically bad might happen over there.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a very isolated kind of
Bunch
way
of
to
people
play.
all sitting around playing single player card games together.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty much how it feels, right?
Weird.
Like, there's
it
that
prevents-
one...
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's the one element of being able to be like, oh, I think that person's gonna win, so let me mess with them.
Yeah.
And it does mean that each person's deck is specifically geared towards them. So, like, for Prince John, right, who's trying to get a bunch of money, he has a lot of hero cards that are like, oh, take away some of his money. Whereas, like, if everybody had their own, it's like, oh, take away money. Well, that's not gonna do shit to Hades or Ursula,
Yeah.
It does kind of prevent the issue that you run into in Munchkin, where
Yeah.
everyone's trying to end the game and everyone is stopping everyone else from ending the game.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Or what's
So they'll
the
become
unicorns?
endless.
Unstable unicorns
Unstable
game.
Yeah,
unicorns,
same
same
thing,
idea.
Same problem.
Yep.
Yeah, so it is good on that way, but like Alex said, it does feel a lot like everyone's just sitting around playing a single player board game together.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, maybe that's fine. It's definitely, I think it's aimed at kind of a younger audience, so that might also be part of it. Like, you don't have just like, oh, I've decided that you can't win, so I'm gonna just ruin your game now.
I feel like that's just the thing with that type of game. When everybody's playing their own, like I think about Root. I don't know if you guys ever played Root, but
Yeah.
similar concept. Like everybody's playing their own game. I mean, you are interacting, but not really. I mean, you're kind of
Makes
just
me
doing
think
your
of
own
the-
thing.
In the last game we played, nobody interacted with my
Right. At all.
race.
Makes me think of Splendor too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. You don't really interact with the other players. You're kind of just playing your own game.
You
Kinda
can
weird.
like the only thing you can do in Splendor is like if you realize somebody's gonna go for something, you can just like steal it, I guess.
That is true.
Try to take it before they do.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I only played it once, so I really want to try it again, try a different character, take
Yeah.
another run at it, because concept-wise, it's so freaking cool. And they have all these expansions, so they've added like a bunch of new villains.
Yeah.
There's a freaking Marvel expansion, and what's cool about that is there's a shared hero deck now, because it's
Oh.
like a shared universe. I thought that
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
really clever.
That's
and then
good.
like Thanos is in there, and he has to get Infinity Stones from all the other villains. I'm
That's
like,
neat.
like stuff like that makes me go like, man, that is such a cool idea. I want to play that.
I actually
Um,
own Villainous. I just haven't played it.
Do you, wait, play it and tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should try it
I
out.
guess so.
Yeah,
it's
no,
in
oh my
Caleb's
god,
house
you
in a
guys all
box
live
somewhere.
there. Everyone else play it and tell me if it's good or not.
We'll try it out.
Because I'm torn.
Janae's
I
been
do
wanting
like-
to try it too. So
I do like the asymmetric objective games. I think they're a lot of fun usually.
Mhm.
Also, the expansions all seem to be like $20, which is a very
Hmm.
compelling price point for me. You
Yeah.
can get freaking Yzma from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh,
And-
nice.
That's
The
fun.
most surprising one I saw, you can get, I don't even know his name, the bad guy from Black Cauldron.
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
Huh.
you can buy an expansion that has him in it. And I was like, why did they put a Black Cauldron character in here? Nobody likes that movie.
I used to have nightmares about that guy when I was a small child.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe you could have nightmares about it as an adult too.
The other game that I was thinking about that probably fits that mold is Scythe.
Yeah,
when you
Scythe,
play
yeah.
Scythe, you
Nice.
literally only play by yourself.
Hmm.
You don't play with anybody else, and it's weird.
I like the ones that are like that, but you interact more. Like Vast,
Vast is very
you
good.
can actually impact people pretty strongly. You can't like focus. Not everybody can focus somebody to prevent them from winning, but
Right.
you can interact in some way.
I also wanted to mention we haven't had. I went back and looked through our past podcast. We haven't talked about it, but we've played several rounds of Nemesis, which
I was thinking about bringing that up.
is a game that Caleb bought a while back. Did you kickstart it?
Yeah,
Or
they
did-
had like they did a Kickstarter for an expansion, and part
Oh,
of
you
it
were able
was
to
you
buy
could
the
get
base
the
set.
base game
Yeah.
because it's hard to get, or it's really expensive otherwise.
One thing we were kind of talking about Nemesis. It's a 1 to 5 player space survival game. I would say is maybe one of the more atmospheric games I've ever played. Everything in the
Yeah.
game, rules, mechanics, everything is just dripping in what the atmosphere is, which is very much just Alien,
Mm-hmm.
the movie.
Oh.
You're basically playing a game against these aliens who have invaded your ship, and everybody has 2 objectives, which you discard one about halfway through the game. Once I think it's either once once the first actual alien pops up, then you discard one of your objectives. And your objectives include a number of things, but you either have to escape on an escape pod, get the ship to get back to Earth by putting in the correct hyperspace coordinates, and there's always something else too. It's like a hidden objective that you have to accomplish. Maybe it's you're the only person to survive, or you explore all the rooms, or you make the ship go to Mars,
Or you
Nobody
kill
knows.
another one of the players.
or you kill another player. So it's a very cool game. I enjoyed both the times we played it, and I thought it's solid. It feels like The Thing, except it's
Yeah.
subtracted that element of Hidden Traitor, which, or at least a lot of it, and I'm okay
A
with
lot
that.
of it, yeah. It's not a social deduction game anymore in this one. There is a little bit of people can be traitors, but
It's way more minimal.
yeah.
I wanted to talk about a couple things in film-related world too. First and foremost, What If? We have now had 3 episodes of What If, and if you guys are not watching What If, first of all, Derek's going to say shame on you because he would be very upset. He watched, I feel like, literally the moment something with Marvel drops, the man is streaming it somehow. But if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's really cool. It's basically the concept is that there is the Watcher and that he sees alternate versions of reality. What if one thing was changed? What if this happened versus this? I think the first episode was pretty
We
light
discussed the first
on the adjustment.
episode.
We did. But the second and third episodes were, boy, I feel like that What If is like a pretty major change. The second episode focuses on T'Challa being Star-Lord, and the third episode focuses on
That is a big what if.
It's a big F.
the third episode basically focuses on the death of all the Avengers
Yeah.
That was not that
Before-
big of a what if, I feel.
before they become the Avengers.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
and it just, after watching the 3, I feel like so far the best what ifs are the ones that are going farthest away from the movie.
Yeah.
Like the one with T'Challa being part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
They are not copying any beats of any of the previous movies. It is straight up just an entire and fantastical story of just what would it be like to have this charismatic guy being Star-Lord, and it's fantastic. It is such a good episode. And then to follow it up with this one of just being like, hey, the events of like Thor, Iron Man 2, and then and Hulk, but all slightly different. It's just kind of like, like I don't know.
Really?
I definitely thought it was an interesting story, but I definitely felt like the more interesting part of that story happens at the end, and they don't dive into it because like screw the mystery of how all of them are dying. The most fascinating thing is the reveal of who killed them all, and then directly into Loki being the leader of Earth and both captains being as the team of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Which that is where I want the episode to start.
Like you want it to pick up there? Like let's
I
fast
want
forward through all the Avengers deaths and let's just pick up right at the end of the episode.
And they'd even do such a good job of like they have like a montage of like how this person kills all of the Avengers, and I was like, perfect. That is exactly where you start. You start with the reveal of who killed them. You show the montage to see all of the Avengers dead. You see Loki taking over Earth, and then Captain America and Captain Marvel starting a new team and taking out Loki. That's your story. And that is way more interesting than what we got.
I think Derek and I were talking about this earlier today, but I think the original concept for this was to mirror the first 20 movies in the MCU timeline and take each one of those and put a what if scenario up next to it. I think that's probably since, I mean, it changed at some point. I know they were supposed to originally do 10 episodes of the first season and 10 in the second, and COVID slowed some of that down. But I think that's why maybe they've taken it and made a major adjustment. Like they've compressed it into, all right, let's take a bunch of these different stories and plug them into the same thing and make it a wild what if. What if all of the Avengers died and we had to make it? I mean, I don't know. I still like the story. I think you're probably right. There wasn't a bunch of like new storytelling in it. It was mostly just like, here's the story that happened in these movies. The very end of that story component in the movie, it's different because that character dies. Also, then let's go to the very end of the movie, or very end of the episode. Last 5 minutes are like new content.
And I think that's the thing is when they're doing new content, it's the most interesting. Like I liked seeing Peggy take over and be Captain America, but oh hey, it's all of Captain America, but just Peggy instead was not that interesting. Like the best.
I don't know. I really liked it.
I mean, I like Peggy Carter as a character, and I liked seeing her there. But I was just like, I would have much rather have seen this, have like more of a story of like, okay, what if Peggy Carter's leading the Avengers?
That might have been cool. We should also probably mention here one kind of crazy thing. The Spider-Man No Way Home trailer has topped 355 million views in a 24-hour period, which is about 75 million more views than they got for Avengers Endgame trailer.
I tweeted about this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Why?
I, back a while ago, heard a rumor that there was not going to be a trailer until the movie dropped. And I was like, I'm for this. We all know Spider-Man is going to do well, regardless of a trailer or not, in theaters.
Yep.
We already have the rumors of it being a multiverse, having different Spider-Man in it. Everybody's always like, oh, I saw this person on set here. Like, cool. That you can't get around hearing that. I was really hoping.
That spoke for me just now. I had not heard that.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping that we would get all the way to the movie once in our lifetime without a trailer dropping, and then we not have like. And I haven't even seen the trailer. I'm avoiding it like the plague.
Don't watch the trailer.
I'm avoiding
Do not watch the trailer.
Everything about it. I swipe on TikTok and I get to the Spider-Man trailer, and I'm like, swipe. Like, no. So I just the trailers just there's a Hans movement that happens where you go into Fast 9 and you're supposed to be wowed by the fact that Han's alive.
But you already know because you were spoiled by the trailer.
Right.
Alex saw that trailer for the first time the other night when we were watching some movie. I don't know what it was, but he was like, they reveal Hans in this trailer?
Yeah.
That's why I told
What
Alex
a
way
dumb
back
idea.
when, do not watch the trailer. Like, I know you don't watch trailers. Do not watch this trailer. And so I don't know.
What a cool moment to be in a theater and be like, holy crap, they actually brought Han back. I can't believe it. And like, what a lame moment for it to be like,
That's how
it's in the
excited
trailer.
I was. Not at all.
Oh yeah,
Zero
Han's here.
excitement.
Knew that from the trailer.
I feel like it would have been like I almost feel the marketing behind not releasing a Spider-Man trailer would actually get you more ticket sales than releasing a Spider-Man trailer and showing us whatever they've showed us.
I would honestly be okay if they just dropped the time down from like 3.5 minutes to just let's only do teasers from now on.
Yeah, teasers. That'd be great.
Teasers,
You can market it without giving
I
everything away.
Yeah, I just want to get a sense of what this movie's supposed to be so that I can decide if I'm interested in watching it. Granted, this type of movie, of course, I'm be interested in watching.
Have you guys noticed the last few years that when you go to watch a trailer on YouTube or something like that, there's like a mini trailer that happens before the trailer?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Like
and honestly,
we don't have
that
enough
mini trailer is probably all you need to do. Just give us that.
It's like you don't have enough attention span to last through the 2-minute trailer, so we gotta hook you with this 10-second like exciting thing.
It's probably only 7 seconds.
Yeah, that way you can stick around for Hey Peter and be like, oh my god.
Man.
I can almost see like if it's something like Interstellar or something just out there that it's brand new.
Man,
you don't really know much about it.
I like that you brought up Interstellar because my other suggestion was going to be hire Christopher Nolan
to make a
Direct
trailer.
all trailers.
Right.
Dude,
But I
you have
can-
no idea what's going on in the movies ever.
I was gonna say you watched the
Sure.
movies and you're still not totally sure. So that's good.
I can get
Maybe
behind
that's the real
trailers for
trick.
I get behind trailers for those movies, but this is Spider-Man. We know what's going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be Spider-Man trying to save the day. You don't need a trailer for this. Like, I don't understand why you got to spoil the little like nuggets you're gonna throw at us just because you want to get like the
I
hype
don't
built.
know.
I feel like
I
it'd be
don't know.
more hype if you didn't release the trailer.
I wonder how directors of the films feel about it,
Trailers in
Does-
general.
or like
Revealing
trailers
stuff.
that reveal things. Yeah, because I bet they don't really have a say. Because it's like the marketing department probably comes at it and is like, we have to generate this amount of hype for
Buzz.
this movie. Like, this is what we're going to put in the trailer.
Listen,
Mhm.
if I've learned
Maybe.
anything being a marketing director, it's that the marketing department's stupid.
Uh,
They make a bunch of bad decisions. And if that's the case with trailers, I feel bad for the directors. Man. One other thing we should talk about in film world, and that is a
I do
really
teaser posters. I do.
I
you
know.
like I'd do tweets. I'd even hire like some Twitch streamers just to talk about
I
it.
think-
Like you don't
but no
need
no
a
3.5
trailer.
minute trailer.
I think all huge budget movies should have like an elaborate ARG associated with them. And that's the
Yeah.
only thing.
Cloverfield style.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chef's kiss.
So Netflix released a pretty cool anime, and it is called Voltron Legendary Defender.
No.
Sorry,
No.
it is called Dota Dragon's Blood.
No.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
it is called The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf. By the way, all three made by the same studio.
Oh.
oh, look at that! You did a thing.
Yeah, did a
A
thing.
good thing. That was an impressive thing.
Talk about
They're-
Dota.
That doesn't do much to me because I wasn't a big fan of the Dragon's Blood animation.
Oh no!
Like the animation itself.
I think it's pretty good.
Not everybody has a correct opinion.
It's that scene when the dragons are fighting and literally the camera shakes, but the actual image doesn't change in any way whatsoever.
Hmm.
I'm out. I'm out when that happens.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's not good.
Weren't those
Uh,
dragons CG though?
I
I
don't
couldn't.
remember.
Maybe.
I feel like some of the
They
dragons
mix a lot of
combat was
CG in it.
They do mix a lot in that.
I watched the Witcher anime on Netflix. I didn't even know this was going to happen. I just saw it on Netflix. I was like, oh, that's a nice surprise. And then I watched it.
all in one
It's-
sitting.
I mean, it's a movie. So yeah,
It's like Chad with the Outer Banks.
it's an hour and a
Except
half
this
long
one's a
movie.
Oh, it's just a movie. All right, I'm just checking.
Hour and a half long movie. So I watched
That's
the hour and a half
basically
long
how long
movie.
A movie.
Season 2 of the Outer Banks was.
Like what, 11 hours? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie's really good. It follows Vesemir, who, if you haven't played the game or whatever, is like the guy who taught Geralt. So it's like in the past
Wow.
sort of situation. He's like young Vesemir, and you get to see his trials and tribulations. Pretty fun time. The animation is not a still image with a shaky cam,
That's good.
so there you go.
Good.
There's actually like some pretty legit scenes towards the end and like combat and stuff like that that are pretty sick. A lot of gore, a lot of, more mature witchery stuff going on. But yeah, I just wanted to leave a recommendation for it. I think it's pretty good.
If you also are interested in watching things that are good animation on Netflix, if you haven't watched Blood of Zeus, you should watch that. But also, Masters of the Universe Revelation just came out. And I don't know if we have any fans here of He-Man stuff, but it's very short season. It's only 5 episodes long. It's definitely a kids show, but still.
Is it at all connected to She-Ra?
I'm
Then
not
I
going to
do- I
say
don't
anything
care.
about the series. It's they deviate a lot. I'll just go there.
Just because She-Ra is just so good. And if you would have told me that this was somehow connected to that, oh, I'm in. I will watch it.
It is the same studio that made Castlevania.
Oh,
Blood
okay.
of
Never
Zeus.
mind. I'm back
So,
in.
I mean, their animation is very good, but it's not in line with that as much because it is definitely, sold as a kids show. He-Man, after all.
Yeah.
Oh man, real
She-Ra's the twin sister of He-Man, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
quick. Talking about
Because the
good
She-Ra show
animation.
is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Caleb.
KyoAni's back with Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Oh yeah.
Their animation is so good.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I'm amazed every time. They do such a good job.
The
That's all I
best
wanna say.
animation? Would you say the
It's-
best animation?
They do a really good job. I mean, I don't know. There's probably people that can beat them, but I don't know. They're up there in the top.
UFO table beats him.
I don't know.
I'm
They're really
gonna-
good too.
Wait, who made that movie you made me watch a while ago where there's a bunch of firefighters? What the heck
Trigger.
is the name of it?
That's Trigger.
Firefighters?
that's
Trigger. Trigger.
Yeah.
Frickin' A, man.
Trigger's also up there.
Promare. There we go. Whew.
Yeah.
That was a struggle to bring to the
Well,
front.
it's not firefighter fighters.
Oh, firefighter fighters. What a good game concept. Chad,
Yeah, what's up?
let's end the podcast by talking about none other than where you get all of the best supplies to cook dinner. Sam's Club. Sorry, Costco.
BJ's.
Is that a fact? Like, do you personally use Costco?
Oh, 100% I use Costco.
Alex, is he joking?
Dude,
I
let
can't
me tell
tell
you right now.
Okay.
If
No,
you've
he
ever
says
been to
it-
the store,
He says it like he's
Wait.
a loyal 10-year anniversary customer
I
of
didn't
Costco.
believe.
They got a recent membership.
I didn't believe. I was not a believer. Now I am a believer. Listen, when you go to the store, like a regular store, like a Target, a Whole Foodies, and you
Yeah.
buy yourself a bag of dried mangoes that cost like $8 and you get 6 slices,
Right.
then you go to Costco and you get
Yeah.
a 3-pound bag of dried mangoes. That thing
Right.
will last forever. And it's basically the
It
same
will last
price.
at least one day.
At least one day with me.
So, let me ask you a question, Aaron.
Yes,
Did you ever
Chad.
walk out of there with a warm hot dog?
Dude, their hot dogs are good.
All right, so this is going to be a segment of an outro of marketing ads, things, and stuff.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Wait,
Go
Are you
ahead.
prefacing with the price of this said hot dog?
Yeah, the price of this hot dog
Okay.
is for the 20-ounce drink and the hot dog. It's $1.50.
That's pretty
Right.
good.
And the most important part is you can put the most amount of onions you have ever put on anything in your life on this hot dog because they
Yeah.
have a machine that just freaking carves those onions.
So,
That's
did
so
you guys
weird.
know?
Freaking carves them, dude. You just spin the handle and it's just pumping out onion chunks.
That's
They
so
started
strange. and
selling
amazing.
hot dogs there in 1984 with the 20-ounce drink
Yep.
for $1.50.
Yep.
The CEO said to the co-owner of the company, "Hey, don't you dare touch the price of the hot dog or I will effing kill you. Figure it out." And so they actually started producing their own hot dogs like in-house to keep the price down. They're losing money on this, but the CEO said, "Don't
Well, is
touch
it-
the price."
Isn't it the same thing as their rotisserie chickens? They also like lose money yearly on the rotisserie chickens, but it's just like it was always that much money, and so it always will be that much money.
I don't know.
sounds
that
familiar.
That's, I feel like rotisserie chickens, people just line up for those at Costco because they're so good.
Yeah.
But that was the thing is like they're always like what, like $10 or whatever.
I mean, they're
And-
not very expensive. I know that.
Yeah, and like that was the thing is like it's always been $10 for that, and they're like, do not fuck with it.
I love that he was just like, look, if there's one thing in the store,
Hot
I want to make
dogs.
sure the hot dogs never break $1.50.
So on top of that, Costco sells more than 4 times the amount of hot dogs than MLB does.
Wait,
What?
what?
Major League Baseball?
Yeah. The
How?
MLB stadiums sell 4 times less than Costco does.
I mean, I guess
That is
Costco's always
amazing.
open.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Still,
You
I feel like everybody
you
gets a
think
dog and a
baseball
beer
hot
when you go
dog,
watch
right?
baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
now it's Costco hot dog.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
You know, there's a Costco across the street, and you guys are making me feel like maybe I have missed out on something. That maybe
if
Go get one right now.
listen, if the hot dogs aren't working out for you at Costco, let me tell you another place you can get a hot dog.
Oh my god.
My pants.
Home Depot.
Was
is it
not
Home
going
Depot?
there.
I hate everywhere this
I
has
hate
gone.
this podcast.
No, the important part is you can get a hot dog if you go to Home Depot
Yeah.
because
Are
they
they
now
back?
have.
Can you now?
Oh yeah, they now have a cart for food for contractors, and their hot dogs are $2.50, but they're gourmet.
Is
And
it
they're
kind of
cut
like
open.
that parking
They're
space
gourmet.
that I know for a fact
Gourmet.
you never paid for?
Yeah. What? What?
I said,
What?
is it kind of like that parking space that I know for a fact you never paid for?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You picked this, and you were just like, look at me.
Yeah.
You're just like,
do I
you're
look like a
Look at
professional?
me.
Do I look like a professional?
Oh
It
my
says
God.
pro parking. Professional.
Oh my
Parking.
God.
He's like, look at my hands. Look at the dust on me. Like, they're not going to say anything.
They're not going to question me. Of course they're not. I look like a professional. What pro
Oh,
parking's for, guys.
Costco's rotisserie chickens are $5, and they've been that way since 2009.
There you go.
Apparently, to keep that price low enough, they have vertically integrated poultry production into their corporation.
Yeah, they just,
See?
they're like, man, we got to pay more for this from outsourcing. Nah, let's just bring that in here. Let's just, come on.
They
Good
make
grief.
40% of their own chickens, and the rest come from other suppliers. They're directly
What
competing
the
with like Tyson
Hot
and stuff
dog
like that.
prices are going up.
Holy
Screw that. Let's
crap.
pull it in. Let's make our own.
Pretty soon they're going to have to start making their own TVs. Man.
And
Exciting
boxed
stuff,
wine.
guys. Boxed wine, yes. Actually, if you're ever
Peanut
looking
butter.
for like really good, really inexpensive alcohol, Costco is a great place to go. One thing a lot of people don't know, but if you like vodka, their house vodka, Kirkland, is made by the people who make Grey Goose. So if you want like a really nice vodka, that's where you go. Very inexpensive too.
If you were questioning it on like, because it's Costco making it and, maybe it's going to be like 98% beef, it's not. It's 100%.
Freaking right. 100% beef vodka.
I thought it was
Lord.
100% beef chicken.
Good lord. Oh no.
It's 100% beef dog.
Oh,
Okay.
100%
Okay.
beef vodka.
All right.
On that note, thanks so much for joining us.
The
and,
dog has gotten even bigger since its debut.
Let's just please.
Thanks so
stop.
much for joining you. We'll catch you next time. I said for joining you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.